Hey everybody, this is Carolyn from Homesteading Family, and I'm really excited to share this with you today. We've been talking about eggs in egg season and what to do when you have too many eggs coming in the spring. Now, this method is very founded historically. People use this all the time right up into the 40s and 50s because until that time, in a lot of country areas out in the country in the United States, we didn't have electricity and there wasn't refrigeration consistently. And so people use this method all the time to keep their eggs. This is called water glassing, and there's several different methods to do it. I'm going to show you the best method and the easiest method right here today. Now, first of all, let's talk about why do I want to preserve my eggs? Well, in the wintertime, chickens naturally stop laying as much or altogether, depending on where you live. When the daylight hours go down and there's less sunshine, less daylight hours, then you're going to get less egg productions. Now, a lot of places and a lot of people tell you, well, go ahead and put artificial lighting in to make sure that you still keep your egg production up. But you know, here at our homestead, we feel like if God created the chicken to stop laying eggs during the winter, then maybe that's best for their bodies. And so we choose to go ahead and not give them supplemental lighting in the winter and let them just be chickens, which means we don't get very many eggs. And so we want to put some eggs aside for winter so we don't have to go buy somebody else's eggs, somebody who did put supplemental lighting in. That wouldn't make very much sense. So this is a great way to save your eggs for baking and cooking all winter long. Now we do it now in the spring when there's this heavy flush of eggs and we have so many eggs to deal with, and you know, we don't really have any other harvesting or preserving to deal with right now. There's no milk coming in yet. That should happen in about a month here on our homestead. And we don't have any vegetables coming in besides a little bit of fresh eating vegetables. We don't have anything else going on. So this is a great time to focus on preserving your eggs. Now, we are going to use hydrated lime. This is also known by several different terms: slaked lime or pickling lime. That's right, this is the same thing you get in those tiny little packages like Mrs. Wage's pickling lime for really expensive. Well, this is the exact same thing, hydrated lime, except for you buy 50 pounds of this at a time for about $10 at your local hardware store. So we had to go a little bit further. Our really closest hardware store didn't carry this because it's kind of small, and this is kind of more of a building specialty. And so we had to go down to the local Home Depot, which is a little further away for us, and we got a 50-pound bag of hydrated lime for $11. Now let me tell you, 50 pounds of this is going to last me years. I am going to have all the eggs that I need for years from that 50 pounds. So this is a really economical way to save your eggs. Another really great benefit of using this hydrated lime is that you don't need to have any cold storage for your eggs. You can do this just in room temperature. And of course, if you have a cooler part of your house, you're going to want to keep them there, just like all of your food storage. You don't want to put it in the warmest part of the house. You don't want to put it in anything that's getting direct sunlight. That just deteriorates all food. So that's kind of just a matter of fact about food preservation. But for the most part, you can stick these in a closet, you can stick these anywhere, and they'll last just fine. Now, the noted percentage of success rate for this at 8 months is about 100%. What does that mean? It means your eggs are going to be great at about 8 months, which is really, you know, 8 months to a year. That's as long as I'm wanting to get out of these eggs. Some people note that their eggs have been great, really good quality eggs for up to 2 years with this method. This is an amazing thing. No refrigeration, no anything, just a bucket or a crock if you have it would be even better, and some hydrated lime and you're good to go on eggs. Now, we need to talk about your eggs for a few minutes. This is really important. Do not do this with store-bought eggs because they have been washed, and so the pores are completely exposed and you will suck the lime into your eggs, and that will just be awful. It won't be any good. The eggs will go bad, or they'll taste so bad you won't want to use them. You want to use your current day's fresh, clean, unwashed eggs. So the great thing about this is I'm going to go ahead and make some up here to show you how to do it, and then every day I'm just going to put any extra eggs that I have in it until the bucket's completely full. And after that, I'm going to actually fill another bucket because we have a big family. We want a lot of eggs. So I'm going to try to do about 3 of the 5-gallon buckets worth of eggs. And honestly, I can't tell you by count how many that's going to be. Do you have any guesses? I'd love to know what fits into a 5-gallon bucket of eggs. I've never counted. So this is going to be a really good thing to do with your fresh, unwashed eggs. If you are buying them from a farmer, please ask them and tell them directly, I need unwashed eggs. Generally, they will not wash them. But if they get dirty eggs in their kitchen, they may be washing them to get them clean. So double check with your farmer because again, it's just not worth it to do these with unwashed eggs. All right, so we have a bowl here, getting pretty big, of today's and yesterday's clean, unwashed eggs. I have about 8 quarts of water, clean water, in a very clean bucket. This is all freshly clean. If you live on city water, I would highly recommend that you use filtered water, maybe even distilled water for this. And I have 8 ounces of hydrated lime. Now you use about an ounce by weight, not an ounce as in a measurement, a volume measurement. You want a weight measurement ounce of hydrated lime per quart of water. You can do these in all different sizes. You could do these in a great big 10-gallon bucket if you had it. You could do these in a little 1-gallon crock. Whatever you have is fine. Just use that same ratio of 1 quart of clean water to 1 ounce, weight ounce of hydrated lime. And this is how easy this is, okay? I'm going to dump this right on in here. This is it. It is so simple. It's just really a shame that we don't do this very much anymore because this is so easy. And I'm just going to mix this right on up. I have a whisk here and I'm just whisking it around. You can see it's turned kind of milky. It's got a little dust going. Now what is hydrated lime anyways? Hydrated lime is oyster shells or bones or limestone that has been burnt in a kiln and then it has been hydrated with water. That is what hydrated lime is. So it's a very natural product. It's not a chemical, a synthetic chemical. But this is going to be very different than the lime that you find in your agricultural or gardening section, which is just ground up limestone. So you don't really want to look there. You want to look in your building supply section. People use it for masonry work of some sort. Okay, so we have this really well mixed. And let me tell you, that's it. That's all. That's all I have to do here. This is room temperature water. You don't want it hot. You don't even need it cold. I suppose you could use it cold. But that's all there is to it. Now every day I'm going to go ahead and put in my nice, clean, unwashed eggs. Now I know sometimes when you're getting your own eggs, you end up with dirty eggs. You know, the hen went to the bathroom in the nest box, or maybe it's a little muddy and the mud just kind of tracks around and gets on everything. Ducks, my ducks are notorious for that. Their eggs are always coming in muddy and mucky and dirty. And you know, half the time they lay them out in the yard. They don't even bother to go back to their nest boxes. And so I'm going to show you something else to do with those because you really don't want to do this with those types of eggs. If you're having that problem, make sure that you're getting fresh nesting material into your egg boxes every day if you need to. Different seasons when it's muddy out, we really need to do that around here. And if you have a hen house that they have to walk through before they get to the nesting spots, go ahead and make sure that the whole hen house has nice fresh bedding down on the ground. It kind of is like that doormat, rubs them off before they actually get to the spot where they're going to lay. So if you're still having problems after that, you may have to consider keeping your hens locked in during the morning hours until until they finished laying to keep them closer to home. Don't let them out quite so early. I know I love seeing my chickens out in the yard. It's hard for me to want to lock them in, but you know, just like I tell my children, we have to work before we play. So sometimes you have to tell the chickens that too. Okay, well, I'm loading this up. There are a lot of eggs going in here. I didn't count. I was gonna count them. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go back and count them all because I wanna know how many eggs fit in a 5-gallon bucket. If you know or you have a guess, write it in the comments and let me know what you think. I bet I can get a lot of eggs in a 5-gallon bucket. Okay, now here's one more thing that I wanna share with you. When you start getting to the point that you can start positioning the eggs because you have enough of them in there, make sure that you're positioning them with the small side down. And this is true whether you're putting them in your egg carton or you're putting them here in your bucket or wherever you are. And the reason for this is that you have an air bubble, an air pocket inside of every single egg. And if you have it going to the large section, it actually has a little less surface area that it's touching the egg, the rest of the egg white and everything. And so you want to keep it like that so that it just doesn't get bigger. It doesn't start sucking up the rest of the egg space, which it will do. It'll start to decline your quality. So always store them with the small side down and the big side up if it's possible. You know, in this, I have not read that it makes any difference at all in water glassing, but you know, it's a great kind of average thing to know about eggs. Okay, and there you have it. Now, when I want to use these eggs, all I'm going to do is take them out of the water glass solution, just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and rinse them off. I just don't want that stuff getting into my food. And then I'm ready to use them. That's all there is to it. The one major thing to look forward for in terms of problems with this is to make sure you don't have evaporation. So either make sure you have a lid on here, or if you don't have a lid, you're using a crock or something, I would put a nice layer of olive oil right over the top and then cover it with a clean cloth so you don't get any insects or anything in there, just to avoid any evaporation. And that's all there is to it. It's that easy. Tomorrow I'm gonna get more eggs and I'm gonna put the clean ones right on top of this. And if I start running out of solution, I'll make a little bit more at the same ratio and just pour it right on over, right until this bucket is nice and full. Then I'm gonna set it right back on the pantry shelves in a nice dark spot, and I'll be able to eat eggs all winter long. Take care, you guys. Goodbye.
For more videos like these, sign up at www.homesteadingfamily.com. Also, follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.